NNPC assures of sufficient supply of petrol to last for 32 days. In a bid to ensuring quality of service, the federal government says ICT projects up to ₦1 million to obtain quality assurance certificates. And on commodity watch, diesel prices hit ₦630 across the country. This is Business Express on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. We're reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. And I am Leah Kating Babatunde. The communications and digital economy sector is no doubt performing optimally, and the federal government is taking steps towards ensuring quality of service by its agencies. From now on, institutions that carry out any ICT project that is up to ₦1 million are expected to obtain quality assurance certificate. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy Issa Pantami briefed journalists after the FEC meeting on Wednesday.
Strategies of introducing ICT project clearance: one, to save costs; two, to fight corruption. And this is very important, and we have been discovering so many cases that are suspicious, and we reviewed them critically and draw the attention of institutions where necessary. Sometimes some institutions were even reported to Economic and Financial Crimes Commission or any institution of government, as the case may be. And also part of the benefits is ensure the security of our digital facilities, because part of the clearance, any project submitted, it is going to be reviewed critically to ensure that the security of our country, particularly our cyberspace, is not going to be compromised.
Now, still with that meeting, Group Managing Director of the NNPC on Wednesday informed the Federal Executive Council of efforts at addressing scarcity of petrol. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity in the Office of the Vice President, Laolu Akonde, briefed the press on this after the meeting.
Informed the council that there is enough stock, I think about 1.9 billion liters that is available, enough to last for 32 days. He also said that the agency is working 24 hours. There's a 24-hour loading that is going on at all depots across the country, working with DSS, MOAN, DPM, and IPMAN to ensure that this situation improves.
Oil prices rose on Thursday following a sharp drop on Wednesday as the market contemplated whether major producers would boost supply to help plug the gap in output from Russia due to sanctions for its invasion of Ukraine. Brent crude futures were up $3.1 or 2.8% at $114.24 a barrel after trading in the more than $5 range. The benchmark contract fell 13% on Wednesday in its biggest one-day drop in nearly 2 years. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were up $1.58 at $110.28 a barrel after trading in a more than $4 range. Meanwhile, the average cost of automotive gas oil, otherwise known as diesel, has risen to about 625 naira per litre in some of the filling stations that are willing to sell in Lagos State. Reports say some of them are selling for as high as 630 naira per litre. The surge in the price of the product represents a 118.75% increase in less than 2 months when compared to the 288 naira per litre that is sold in January 2022, according to figures released by the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS). Experts say the increase in the pump price of diesel at filling stations could be attributed to the depreciation of the naira, which has pushed up the cost of importing the product, and most importantly, the surge in global crude oil price as a result of the Russia-Ukraine war. Still talking commodities, gold prices fell on Thursday as traders moved away from safe haven bets after global shares rallied. Let's see prices on the global market. Next is Surviving COVID-19, sponsored by the Central Bank of Nigeria and put together by Benny Adams.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Justina Judea Adams is an entrepreneur in the digital economy. She connects people to goods and services, people to products, and people to people, and get paid.
They just have an app where they connect people to people. We have car companies, very big car company. The largest taxi company is actually an app. They connect people, they connect you to your rider, and they get their commission, and you also get your commission. So that's exactly what we do here. We connect people to products, and we're getting paid for it. So connected economy is here to stay, and that's the last revolution for the common man. Because when you get to 80, can you go to your shop? When you get to 70, can you go to that business?
How sustainable is such a business?
The pandemic has shown us that the connected and digital economy is the way to go. I remember during the pandemic, at the heat of the time, we're still in the pandemic, but let me say at the heat of the pandemic, where people locked their shops and they had their keys in their house. But guess what? In our business, we're making money because we went online and we're connecting people online. So connected economy is the way to go, because if there's something else, if there's another shocker in the economy worldwide, we know where to go to. So it's better you start partnering with a leverage system where you can earn money while you sleep. So we teach people how to get commission from everything they do. People refer people to products and services every day, but they don't get paid for it because they don't know what to do. But we know what to do. We train it to make money from that referral. So you refer someone to a salon, you get commission on it. So here we refer people to products and services and we get commission on it. So you get paid for everything you do in the connected economy.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Youth leaders from across the country have been challenged to invest their energy into productive ventures through innovation in their pursuit of economic development. This is coming on the heels of a capacity building training for youth organized by the Center for Strategic Leadership and Youth Orientation in Abuja, with the theme Making Nigerian Environment Favorable for Youth Development and What Youths Must Do.
The opportunities we have, how to turn around our circumstances and better it, can only come through proper innovation, creativity, application of skills. So we need to acquire the right skills and apply it in a manner that will bring sustainable development. It is one step, one click, one step, one punch. That's where we'll get to the place. So we're ready to build a better nation. Now, government will not bring about solution. Government will create a enabling environment for us to provide solutions. We can.
Sachet water has become one of the most efficient sources of potable water for Nigerians due to non-availability of many other sources of clean water. Tayo Osho in Ekiti State reports that the current poor power supply coupled with scarcity of petroleum products is driving the price of sachet water beyond the reach of many. High report.
Ayo is a trader who earns a living from selling sachet water and other drinks. With the strategic location of her shop in the heart of Ado-Ekiti, business of selling sachet water was good, but that was until the recent skyrocketing in the price of packaged water.
20 naira no move like a 10 naira. Some people say who buy water now can say make we sell 10 bags in a day. Now maybe now 3 bags or 2 bags we sell in a day.
Today, within the space of just 1 month, the price of a 50 centiliters packaged water has jumped from 10 to 20 naira.
And if there's a lot of water around us, it's not everybody that will be buying pure water.
A pack of 20, which used to cost 110 naira, is now 200 naira, which many consumers considered prohibitive. But the producers of packaged water say they cannot help it. As it is today, many of the sachet water factories are producing at less than their installed capacities as a result of the challenge of power supply.
For us to sustain our factories, something has to be done. And that's why the issue of increase eventually come here.
Before now, we are buying this of 300, but now it's 550 naira per liter. The same applicable to petrol.
Many filling stations in Ado-Ekiti are still very inactive as a result of no supply. The few that are in operation only have petrol, with long queues and rowdy sessions.
Now, it's been a mixed trading week for stock traders in the Nigerian stock market. Of course, obviously affected by crisis between Russia and Ukraine that has seen the markets go up and down. But Wednesday, the market finished on a positive note as the benchmark all-share index appreciated by 28 basis points. The all-share index advanced to 47,287.09 basis points as market capitalization, on the other hand, edged up to 25.482 trillion naira. 336.305 million shares exchanged hands by investors in 5,248 deals and was valued at 5.86 billion naira. Presco led 29 gainers as against 12 losers. They were topped by Ella Lakes at the end of the day's session. FBN Holdings, Guarantee, and UBA were the most active to boost market turnover. Guarantee and FBN also topped market value list. We take a pause now and we'll be back in a short while. Okay, we take a trip to the commodities market. Now, when you hear people talk about rice revolution in Nigeria, the picture of the pyramid surfaces. But this revolution is far ahead of that. Its impact is blowing through communities like a whirlwind, burying the seed of progress in its trails. Abdullahi Mohammed was in one railway market in Kaduna State where rice makes it thick.
By the old rail tracks, this was once the conveyor of the stuff that makes the market thick. Now it comes from all angles. Rice paddy keeping this market flourishing.
The market stands tall in processing rice paddy.
From initially buying the paddy rice, then following through the process of refining it, then at the final stage here, all the stones are being removed and then packaged then to our homes where we eat the rice.
This is the chain of activities the rice revolution has triggered, and in between tasks that engages the idle hands with a daily reward to envy.
We are grateful to this government and pray it succeeds.
From the paddy husking to polishing and bagging, each stall has what it takes, but the rice millers are eyes on the privileges enjoyed by rice farmers from the Apex Bank.
The rice now is moving more than the foreign one. People have already started coming back to Nigerian rice. Then we are sure if the government help us with the machines, we are going to do more than the way we are doing now.
The little drops of rice being processed in this market is no doubt a hand that raised the rice pyramids, and this did not appear from the blues. These are the tales of the rice revolution meandering through localities, waking up the sleepy and vulnerable. Abdullahi Muhammad, NTA News.
The International Monetary Fund (IMF) has said that accelerating women's economic empowerment is critical to ensuring developing countries can achieve economic self-reliance and transition from being aid partners to trade partners. In Nigeria, women entrepreneurs are a growing market force already, and as women are being celebrated in the month of March, Business Express is turning attention to women and, of course, preparation for the AFCFTA. Before we go to our guests, we take this very quick short break. Now we're going to our business for today, and our guest is Blessing Iraboza. She's a president, Organization of Women in International Trade, OWIT Nigeria. Thank you and welcome to the show this morning.
Thank you so much for having me on your show this morning.
Okay, how is the heat treating you?
We're used to it. We're in Nigeria, and with the climate change, everybody's prepared.
Yeah, trying to
just adapt.
Just stand the 4 cues.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So let's start by you giving us a picture why women are these very important in business as we drive this conversation.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Blessing Erabo, President, Organization of Women in International Trade Nigeria. First and foremost, I'd just like to educate people what OIT is, and before I go to your question. Organization of Women in International Trade is an organization that is set up to advance women in international trade and businesses. It was set up to support women entrepreneurs so that they can export properly, understanding the basic trade protocols and agreement, helping them to prepare in terms of having their goods ready for export, and also helping them to take advantage of the different trade agreements that are free around the globe, including the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Okay, that's a nice one there. So, what have you done any study? What have you found?
In terms of women has always been there doing businesses, even from the times of our forefathers. Women have been involved in buying and selling. But the only problem we have with women was that they were not really doing this business formally. Women are more than 75% of the
MSMEs.
MSEs in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, how many of their businesses are really properly in the formal sector? A lot of them are at the informal level. Some of them are not even registered.
Okay.
But with AFTA coming, which is the African Continental Free Trade Area, it gives opportunity for these businesses to be formal, for them to be integrated properly as a formal business. Don't forget that if you go to the borders today, you will see women buying and selling, hawking across the both borders. But are these women really integrated into our system? No. So you cannot even say this is what the women in Nigeria are contributing to economy. But with AFTA, Nigerian government has seen the need to formalize the informal trade so that you can really know what women are contributing in terms of economic development in the country. And I know, I can hit my hand on the chest and tell you that women are contributing more than 50% in terms of the economy of this country, just that is not formalized.
Wow. So, are you getting the necessary support in formalizing this trade?
Yes, we got some support from the federal government. You remember when they set up the payback, and the vice president asked at the point that registration should be 20,000, and some were even done for them for free. This really allowed a good number of women to have their business formalized into the formal system by having themselves registered. And as I speak today, if you go out to the shops and street, you will see well-packaged products of the Nigerian woman. But the only problem is that how do we get the right certifications for these women to be able to take their product out of Nigeria, especially as AFTA is around the corner, which has commenced, but just that Nigerian has not really properly taken the advantages of selling and buying across the different African country. But we're working towards that for our women, that as soon as we get all the policies and what it needs for them to start movement, I will tell you that over 30% of Nigerian women are ready to push their product into the African country.
Okay, while we're looking at that, there's also the question around access to credit, financing these businesses to get them ready to trade with other countries on the continent and beyond. Are you worried about that, and are you having any conversations around that?
Yes, we are all worried about that, not just the Women Association. I also double as the Assistant National Secretary of the Nigerian Business Women Network, which is a coalition of close to 6 million women. So you can see how the access to credit is very important. And don't forget that a lot of banks, through the CBN intervention, are pushing out different packages for women-owned businesses, like the Z Woman, the WEMA, the Unique Care from Union Bank, and some other banks. They're trying to push, but still is not enough. For my mother who is for my grandmother, the likes who are in the village, their businesses are not properly documented. What I mean when I say documented, those businesses does not really have records. So we're working on different trainings to make sure that these women, they have the right bookkeeping, because if you need to collect money, this money is from the bank and not even theirs. So they need to know how you are going to repay back this money. And thank God for the different intervention. You have the one single digit loan for SMEs and special packages for women too that are single digits. But it is only those in the formal sector that can access this loan.
Okay, so let's say I'm in the formal sector now. Who do I go to?
You can go to banks like the Zenith Bank. They have what is called the Z Woman. You have the Access Bank. They have a package. Union Bank and WEMA Bank. They have package.
So it means a lot of our banks have those packages.
Yes, a lot of our banks.
Is it a problem of awareness?
A problem of awareness is part of it, and secondly, the collateral is another part of it. If I need to buy machineries and I'm looking for loan, I need to get a collateral so that I'll be able to secure that loan.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but Bank of Industry has put up a package where where you can access some of this loan with your business. But how many of our businesses are worth like 10, 15, 20 million?
Oh dear. So you might have to form cooperatives to succeed.
Even if you form cooperative to succeed, the cooperative, everybody might not be doing the same thing. Everybody might not be living in the same area. So what do? It still comes back to you not being able to access this funding. But if you go to advanced world like America, which our organization has its head office over there, loans are 1%, 5%, 5 at most for bigger corporation, but they keep pushing out packages and not creating a lot of bottleneck for the SMEs, especially the women-owned business, to be able to access this fundings.
Oh dear. So it means we still have a lot of work to do.
Yes, we need to do more.
Hopefully by this time next year we'll have covered so much grounds.
I'm sure of that. The women keep pushing, and we keep engaging to know what to do and how to support this bank in making sure that some of our women are able to access this loan, even if it has to be that the organization itself has to stand for the few of them that have capacity. We know by the time we keep doing this, gradually we're able to support a lot of women.
Yeah, most sincerely, thank you for coming on the program. We're speaking with Blessing Iraboza, President OWIT. Thank you for coming on the program. And it is on this end that we're wrapping the show this morning. And of course, the stock market out there on the global scene is a mixed bag because of the Russia-Ukrainian war. And so we value your feedback. Do join us again tomorrow at 3 p.m. for another package. I'm Leah Kating-Baba today. Stay safe out there.
We want to talk about rights, there are obligations. I'm not saying that this government is a saint, very far from it. But there are things that we can do to make it better, and that's the challenge I'm throwing to you. You don't want to build this nation? I don't know where else you want to go. If I had a choice, I'll come back. When I stand outside and I hear what you have to say about this country that I know that I can die for as one, then I'm really sad because you're young. You have education. You have tools. You have a huge future ahead of you, and you're condemning yourself before you started on that journey. So please don't do that. Please don't.
Initiative, but there's a swift counter there by Dang Autan Kudawa. see how much beads of sweat. Oh.
Hello and welcome to the News at 10 on NTA News 24. We are broadcasting live from our studios here in Abuja. I'm Dennis Adegunloye. Thanks for joining us. Let's begin with the headlines. Institutions that carry out ICT projects up to 1 million naira to obtain quality assurance certificates.
We want to utilize trade as a means of generating revenue for the country.
House of Representatives appeals for establishment of military bases across the country. Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority warns motorists against hoarding petrol. Evacuation of Nigerians in Russia, Ukraine war near completion as African Union head pushes for ceasefire talks with Putin. Let's begin from the Federal Executive Council. The communications and digital economy sectors are no doubt performing optimally, and the federal government is taking steps towards ensuring quality of service by its agencies. From now on, institutions that carry out any ICT project that is up to 1 million naira are expected to obtain a quality assurance certificate. This is as the federal government is making moves to protect local farmers from exploitation by foreign produce buyers. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports on this and other deliberations at the Federal Executive Council's virtual meeting.
The federal government is not relenting in making the cyberspace safe for all users in Nigeria, and steps are being taken as well towards ensuring the quality of ICT services. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy Issa Ali Pantami briefs the Federal Executive Council on the need for all agencies installing ICT to obtain quality assurance certificate. He also explains this when he meets with the media after the council's meeting.
It is part of the strategies of introducing ICT project clearance. One, to save costs. Two, to fight corruption. And this is very important, and we have been discovering so many cases that are suspicious, and we reviewed them critically and draw the attention of institutions where necessary. Sometimes some institutions were even reported to Economic and Financial Crimes Commission or any institution of government, as the case may be. And also part of the benefits is ensure the security of our digital facilities, because part of the clearance, any project submitted, it is going to be reviewed critically to ensure that the security of our country, particularly our cyberspace, is not going to be compromised.
And a view to protecting farmers from foreign produce buyers and help in improving sales of their farm produce, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment Otumba Niyi Adebayo says now, under a new trade policy action plan, foreign produce buyers will have to go through local marketing or cooperative organizations before they can get to the farmers.
This way, the farmers will no longer be cheated by these foreigners who just throw money at them and are able to buy their goods. So that was the first memo that we presented. And the second memo we presented was also for the approval of a trade policy action plan. The theme of the action plan is, and I quote, unleashing Nigeria's development potentials through trade and investment. We want to utilize trade as a means of generating revenue for the country. So the action plan aims to utilize the existing national trade policy, to facilitate an effective use of international trade and investment as tools for economic growth and poverty reduction in the country.
The Group Managing Director of NNPC informs the Council on efforts at addressing scarcity of prima motor spirit, otherwise known as petrol. Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity in the Office of the Vice President, Laolu Akonde, briefs the press on this.
He informed the Council that there is enough stock, I think about 1.9 billion liters that is available, enough to last for 32 days. He also said that the agency is working 24 hours. There's a 24-hour loading that is going on at all depots across the country, working with DSS, MOAN, DPM, and IPMAN to ensure that this situation improves significantly.
The virtual Federal Executive Council meeting was chaired by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo in the State House. Jide Onifade, NT News.
When President Muhammadu Buhari assented to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill on the 25th of February 2022, it was clear that the National Assembly had unfinished business on the new law, and that was the amendment of Section 84, subsection 12 of the Act. At the Senate, that business appears to have been concluded, as the amendment bill, which had scaled through the judicial hurdle, could not survive the Senate gavel. More on this from National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo.
The Electoral Act Amendment Bill was the first item for consideration on the order paper. There was a point of order by the Minority Leader of the Senate, Enyinaya Baribe, on the bill, and President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, provided explanations.
I suggest that the leader step down this bill until he complies with the rules in Order 76.
So on this one, we know that we receive a letter, and the letter is categorical, indicating that the executive wants an amendment to Section 84, subsection 12 on the second reading to be led by the leader. In my judgment, should continue.
And then, debate for and against the bill ensued.
This provision has been interpreted by the executive arm of government as introducing qualification and disqualification criteria that are ultra-violating the Constitution by way of importing blanket restriction and disqualification to serving political office holders.
At the beginning of Section 84, that says that no political party shall seek to disqualify anybody by importing into the process a provision for qualification or disqualification not otherwise provided for in the Constitution.
You cannot be a referee and a player in the same field. It's either you're a referee or you're a player. It's a settled matter in law that you cannot be a judge over your own case.
Eventually, the bill was rejected.
Those in favor that this bill be now read a second time, say aye. Those against, say nay. I put the question. There was an aye and there were nays. And I said the nays had it.
President Muhammadu Buhari had written to the National Assembly requesting that Section 84, subsection 12 of the Act be deleted. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Senate has confirmed the nomination of 5 persons for appointments as commissioners in the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC. Here again is National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo.
On the 9th of February 2022, Senate received executive communication requesting the confirmation of 5 persons as commissioners in the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission. 1 month after, the nominees have been screened by the Senate Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes, which recommended their confirmation.
I wish to thank the entire Senate for the opportunity given the Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes to undertake this screening and recommend him for the approval of the Senate.
On the screening of Mr. President's nominees for appointment as commissioners in the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Congratulations to one of them.
The issue of anti-corruption continued on the floor with the passage of the Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Bill, sponsored by Senator Suleiman Abdul Kwari.
I'm of the opinion that the global best practice, which is to set up an independent agency that has no interest in the investigation.
I want to suggest here, Mr. President, that money should be kept in treasury bills with the Central Bank of Nigeria. The treasury bill interest rate is open to everybody, and it is non-contestable.
This is one of our major contributions to the anti-corruption fight.
Federal College of Agriculture and Animal Sciences, Shagari Sokoto State Establishment Bill, sponsored by Senator Ibrahim Abdullahi Dambaba, and the Federal College of Medical Sciences, Nasarawa Igon, Nasarawa State Establishment Bill, sponsored by Senator Akwashiki Godia, passed second reading.
The Federal College of Agriculture and Animal Sciences, Shagari, when established, will provide for the holistic development of agricultural education, knowledge, skills, and the extension services.
The college is therefore to further advance knowledge through research and nurture unique innovations, entrepreneurship, and wealth management in its core area of interest.
Senate has adjourned plenary to Tuesday the 15th of March 2022. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTN News.
Staying at the National Assembly, the incessant security breaches in parts of northwest Nigeria, and in particular the recent attack by bandits in Kebbi, which left close to 60 local security volunteers dead, has necessitated an appeal by the House of Representatives on authorities to establish military bases. The request for deployments to further improve security in the affected areas was adopted at Wednesday's plenary. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Representative Tonko Sununu raised the issue as a matter of urgent public importance, in which he gave an account of how bandits have made life for some communities in parts of Kebbi State difficult as they constantly carry out attacks to kill, kidnap, and rustle.
To urge the federal government to mobilize military, ground and air troops, and other security personnel within the shortest possible time to bring to an end the ongoing attack and take fight to the bases of the bandits.
The House called for provision of assistance to those affected. The motion from Minority Leader Ndudi Elumelu urging intervention from authorities to stop incessant rape and ritual killing of women, and another from Sergio Sugun on the need to strengthen security formations in Edo State were adopted.
The recent one being that of 22-year-old Miss Oluwa Bamishe.
Well, apologies for the freeze on that report. We're still at the National Assembly, where the House of Representatives Committee on Navy, probing the Deep Blue contract to HSL, has demanded written specifications of the project from the nation's armed forces to be able to exercise its mandate. National Assembly correspondent Dayo Ogunshola reports.
This committee is mandated to investigate the legality of the Deep Blue contract agreement to, among other things, find out if all platforms purchased for the armed forces met specifications. Representatives of the armed forces briefed the committee that they were not part of the project's conceptualization.
We were only involved after the approval of the contract. It was at that point we were informed.
Our own is to do the job of protecting the taxpayers' money, to ensure that money spent by institutions of government are not mismanaged.
Similarly, House Committee on Host Communities, Petroleum Resources Upstream and Downstream have commenced investigation to unravel the cause of explosion of a crude oil vessel at Escravos in Delta State.
This public hearing is to find out the answers to these questions so that we can understand the extent of government's responsibility to first ensure immediate remediation and compensation.
To be honest, you need to see the level of impact this disaster has done to the communities and the people.
Please note that this is an investigation, and we will stop at nothing to unravel all the issues behind this particular disaster that happened to our people.
The directors of Shiba Exploration and Production Company
must appear. I underline, must appear before this committee on the 24th day of March.
The committee is optimistic that the outcome of its investigation will foster such occurrence in future. From the National Assembly, Dayo Gunshola, NTA News.
In other news, an accident has just occurred at Lungi Barracks along Kubwa Expressway. Passengers who sustained injuries in the accident have been taken to hospital.
Over the tire burst and where it coming from. I don't know where it's coming from, but I witnessed when the accident occurred. And the moment the accident occurred, people from Bara come out to rescue them because they are calling road safe to come and rescue them.
We will bring you more developments on that story as we get it. You are on to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Stay with us, more reports after this break.
Advertising your goods and services on the right channel gives you an edge over your competitors. NTA News 24 has all the platforms for your target audience. The station is on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46, StarTimes channel 101, and Free TV channel 703. With our digital format and wide range, we can reach your customers in next to no time. We are eager to promote your business, goods, and services. So, partner with us for a very rewarding business experience. For more information, please call or visit our office at NTA Headquarters, Area 11, Garki, Abuja. NTA News 24. News and more news.
You're welcome back. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority has warned motorists against storing petrol either at home or in their cars. Abuja Zonal Operations Controller Roslyn Wuki handed down the warning to remind the public of the highly inflammable nature of petroleum products. Lydia Sampson reports that this was during inspection of some petrol stations in Abuja.
Stations listed, the motorists were quick to acknowledge that the fuel queues are already giving way.
Thank God, the situation is reducing compared to last week.
Better compared to before.
Okay.
Before it was a long queue.
We are much happy to see you people going round to see what is happening.
Today on, I think there's improvement. Not like the other weeks that I spent almost 12 hours in the queue.
Hope if it continues like this.
It is hoped that with more vessels coming in, the massive truck out of petroleum products, as well as some designated petrol stations working 24 hours, the queues will continue to give way and normalcy will be restored.
There have been some improvements. More vessels have come in and more trucks are coming in. And we are working 24/7. We want to tell Nigerians to be patient with us. In a very short while, the queues will disappear.
She again appeals to Nigerians to be patient and avoid panic buying. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And determined to improve the fuel supply situation in the country, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has identified 48 fuel stations where motorists in Abuja and environs can get petrol irrespective of the time of the day. Here are the details of the fuel stations.
NNPC Mega Station Zone 1 Abuja, Total Filling Station near Police Headquarters, Cornwall Petrol Station opposite Abuja Towers, and Owando Petrol Station located in Zone 1 Abuja. Others are Adrova Petrol Stations at Transcorp IBB Way, Zone 1 Apo, and Gwagwalada. Ethena Oil at Wuse 2, Owando Petrol Station at Zone 4, Nipco Oil at Wuse 2, AYM Shafa at Rita Lorry, and AA Rano at Area 3. Rain Oil Petrol Station at Gwarimpa, Cornwall, Owando, Nipco, and AA Rano at Jabi. Also listed by the NNPC are Shema, AA Rano, AYM Shafa, and Afdem Oil at Katampe. Motorists could also get the products at AA Rano at Mbapi and Maitama, AYM Shafa at Dawaki, Ethena Oil at Dutse Junction, AYM Shafa at Dede Junction, Mainland Oil at Dutse, Ethana at Dutse Junction, as well as AYM Shafa at Buari Dutse Road. Others are Dan Marna at FHA Lugbe, AYM Shafa Oil at Lugbe Airport Road, AA Rano at Aviation Village, Afdim Oil at City Gate, AA Rano at City Gate, Sherma Oil at Airport Road, AYM Shafa at Wuye and Darmana at Wuye. The statement assured motorists in Abuja that NNPC Limited is doing all it can to restore normalcy in fuel supply across Nigeria.
So other stories making the news, the Nigerian army is upscaling its non-kinetic operations to stem security threats across the country. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that this came to the fore at the first quarter media chat for 2022 in Abuja, organized by the Department of Civil Military Affairs of the Nigerian Army.
The quest to silence the guns, the military says, cannot be achieved on the battlefield alone.
Winning the hearts and minds of the people is key to our successes in every operation that we take part.
The need to dominate the information environment through the dissemination of compelling narratives that could engender public support and shatter the adversary's will is central to the success of any military operation.
To foster a constructive engagement between the military and the media, the Department of Civil Military Affairs organized this CIMIC media chat.
This forum no doubt presents an avenue for the department to engage with media practitioners for better understanding, with a view to charting a mutually benefiting relationship to improve media reportage and the non-kinetic lines of Nigerian Army operations.
Similarly, the Nigerian Army is upscaling the capacity of its Department of Military Secretary through a career management seminar in Abuja.
The event comes when our involvement in several operations all over the nation, particularly the Northeast, has brought to fore the need for efficient career planning to engender good leadership among officers.
The seminar will therefore appoint formations and co-headquarters, training schools, and individual officers with the requisite career planning and management knowledge required to keep the Nigerian Army on the path of accomplishing assigned missions within a joint environment in defense of Nigeria.
The Army urged officers and soldiers to remain non-partisan during and after the forthcoming 2023 elections. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Russian and Ukrainian foreign ministers arrived Turkey for talks over ceasefire. Details with Oyeyemi Ajayi on the foreign scene.
The foreign minister of Russia and Ukraine have arrived in Turkey for face-to-face talks. This is the first high-level contact between the two sides since Moscow invaded its ex-Soviet neighbor. Moscow Times reports that officials from Kyiv and Moscow have held several rounds of discussions in Belarus, but the meeting in the southern city of Antalya represents the first time Russia has sent a minister for talks on the crisis. Turkish officials said Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba is in Antalya for talks on Russia ceasing its hostilities and ending its war against Ukraine, as well as his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov. Dialogue between Kyiv and Moscow has so far yielded several
radiation leak risk after power cut at Russia's occupied Chernobyl plant. Uche Ugochukwu has more on Global Update.
Ukraine's deputy prime minister says Russia has agreed a new 12-hour ceasefire to allow civilians flee 6 of the worst affected areas in Ukraine. The evacuation, which will be from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., will be carried out via 6 humanitarian corridors. In the meantime, Russian Foreign Ministry spokesman told newsmen on Wednesday that Kyiv has confirmed that a meeting between Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba and his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov will take place on the sidelines of a diplomatic forum in Turkey's Antalya on Thursday, March 10. Meanwhile, Ukraine's state-owned nuclear company as well as the country's national energy operator have warned of a risk of radioactive substances being leaked from the Chernobyl power plant after a power connection was cut. Ukrainian authorities announced on Wednesday that the Chernobyl plant is now relying on emergency backup generators that can only sustain it for 48 hours after being knocked off the national power grid. In other developments, Ukraine plans to recall all its troops and equipment, including helicopters. There are around 300 Ukrainian personnel active in 6 UN missions. The biggest contingent of Ukrainians currently serve in the mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Senegal's President Macky Sall, who is the current head of the African Union, spoke with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin to urge for a lasting ceasefire in Ukraine. He is the second African leader to speak to Putin Wednesday. The first was Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Uche Ugo.
The returnees who still can't shake the sinking feeling of war but are glad to be back home.
4th of March, and it was a flight much anticipated and eagerly expected by many in Nigeria. The relief and the hope on these faces still could not wipe the pains and travails they had experienced after being stuck in war-ridden Ukraine. Relief blended with excitement of survival as they moved more into the safe embrace of the arrival terminal of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. And even when the child's cry seemed to take the mother back to their immediate past ordeal, it still felt safer and a consolation after several days of uncertainty. February 24, the day the Russian-Ukraine war started, changed many things for many in Ukraine, including the Nigerians living there. Mariam and Eric are among those affected. They are both medical students studying in Ukraine, counting on just a few weeks to complete their studies.
We just woke up to news of several explosions in other cities on Thursday morning. I can't remember precisely the date because I'm still trying to clear my head and understand what all happened. But then in the morning, just before 8, we heard another explosion. There was a loud explosion and vibration in the building we lived. So things haven't been the same since then.
The disruption of lives caused by the war has cost them so much. Accounts of what some underwent in their struggles to get out of the conflict are better imagined than experienced.
I mean, there's a lot of anxiety, and anytime the night approaches, we couldn't sleep because we know that the siren will definitely wake us up, and there's no way you could sleep.
Many spend days in the buses conveying them to the borders of neighboring countries like Poland, Romania, Hungary, and Slovakia.
Getting to the border, we met a couple of Indian students who had told us that they had waited for 2, 3, some even said 4 days at the border.
The evacuation of Nigerians continues, with focus now shifting particularly to those trapped in the northeastern Ukrainian city of Sumy. The commitment by Nigeria for safety of its citizens, the global dialogue and mediation to end the conflict are on course. But one thing is certain, the trauma will stay with these Nigerian returnees and survivors for a bit more. But time, they say, heals all. Usman Aliu, NTA News.
We'll have more on the Russia-Ukraine crisis as it concerns Nigerians after this break. Stay with us.
service of the NTA.
Following the historic adoption of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development in September 2015, the Nigeria government, under the able leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, acted very quickly in the overall implementation of the SDGs. The government put in place international frameworks at the national and sub-national levels to support effective implementation of the SDGs. The government also rolled out pro-poor initiatives and intervention programs. In this overall commitment to fast-track the achievement of the SDGs in Nigeria, the government has since 2016, through the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, been embarking on a number of strategic interventions across the 36 states and the FCT with visible results. One of such interventions is the 120-bed mother and child hospital constructed and equipped by the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs and recently commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari, who was represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa. In his keynote address, President Muhammadu Buhari described the establishment of Mother and Child Centers, MCC, across the country as one of the very practical ways to address the reversal in the gain on health sector forced on the country by the COVID-19 pandemic.
It is a great honor to stand before you here today to deliver the keynote address on behalf of President Muhammadu Buhari at this momentous occasion of the completion and commissioning of a 120-bed Mother and Child Center in the capital of Benue State, Makurdi. Today's occasion is not only symbolic of President Muhammadu Buhari's commitment and determination to ensure that Nigeria's health delivery system is improved to cater for the greater majority of Nigerians, but more importantly, to demonstrate his desire to ensure that the most disadvantaged segment of our society access health benefits at affordable costs.
The President extended his commendation to his Senior Special Assistant on Sustainable Development Goals and her team for continually ensuring that Nigeria keeps the attainment of SDGs as a focus to an effective strategy to address some of Nigeria's development challenges.
I therefore wish to commend the tireless effort of the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals and her team for continually ensuring that Nigeria keeps the attainment of Sustainable Development Goals as a focus to an effective strategy to address some of our development challenges. Today's commissioning is a glowing testament to the global community that Nigeria is putting and will continue to put children at the heart of the SDGs.
Today's commission is a glowing testament to the global community that Nigeria is putting and will continue to put children at the heart of SDGs. While stating that the provision of the Mother and Child Center will help to strengthen efforts by the Benue State government to continuously provide quality healthcare services for mother and children, thus a key priority for the SDGs and human development, the President urged the Benue State government to take advantage of the MCC and put it to proper use. It also asked all stakeholders to remain committed to the SDGs 3 as a way of providing better future for children and women.
As we are all may be aware, in Africa today, Nigeria is reported to have one of the highest mortality rates, despite reducing significantly from 254.93 deaths per thousand live births in 1971 to 95.12 deaths per thousand live births in 2020. Investment in this sector has increased in recent years to help address this challenge, and there is an urgent need to expand access to specialized health facilities for women and children. I'm happy to inform you that this is the fifth of such being established in the country. Last year, witnessed the commissioning of a mother and child centers in Lagos, Ondo, Kwara, and Yobe states. And so far, there are 15 more of such centers that have been completed and ready for commissioning. And I've just been told by the SSP that there are 12 more that are different levels of completion. And those ones, when completed too, will be commissioned and handed over to the relevant governments at the different levels for operationalization. This center, like others that have been commissioned, and those yet to be commissioned, are equipped with state-of-the-art facilities, including operating theaters, recovery rooms, private and general wards, scanning room, consultation rooms, and a laboratory. Others include ultra-scan machine, vacuum extractor delivery set, and an emergency care with full complements. The provision of the Mother and Child Center would help to strengthen efforts by the Benue State government to continuously provide quality healthcare services for mothers and children. Thus, a key priority for the SDGs and human capital development. This facility will bring a reduction in unemployment in the medical and paramedical, as well as other support staff. Such gainful employment opportunities and income-generating activities would definitely contribute to the living standards of the people of Benue in general.
In her special remarks at the event, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals noted that the 120-bed Muhammadu Buhari Mother and Child Center in Makurdi is one of the many mother and child centers her office has constructed and equipped across the country. She expressed appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for providing the needed resources that has enabled OSAP SDGs to work closely with sub-national governments to deliver key interventions to fast-track the achievement of the SDGs.
This is one of the many intervention programs and projects, especially in the health sector, which our office, the Office of Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals, has constructed and fully equipped across the country of Nigeria, and in addition, about 15 number of 80-bed hospitals and many primary healthcare centers. Let me appreciate His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for providing the needed leadership and direction and resources to enable us to work closely with the sub-national government to deliver key intervention to fast-track the achievement of sustainable development goals we are all committed to as a country.
Princess Orilokbe Adefolire pointed out that with President Muhammadu Buhari's commitment to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years, and the COVID-19 pandemic challenging Nigeria's healthcare system, strategic interventions such as the Mother and Child Center have become imperative. According to her, the new 120-bed in Makudi has been equipped with state-of-the-art facilities to ensure safe delivery for women.
Based on President Muhammadu Buhari's commitment to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years, we are committed to prioritizing key interventions with multiplier effect on multidimensional poverty, such as access to basic healthcare and education. Indeed, the primary and secondary effect of COVID-19 pandemic will reverse decades of human development gains and undermine the achievement of the SDGs unless immediate action is taken and sustained. This, what we are doing today in Makodi, is to implement as well as accelerate the achievement of SDGs. In Benue State, between 2016 and 2020, we have provided 19 projects in the education sector, 7 projects in water and sanitation, 4 in infrastructure, 2 in clean and affordable energy, and this mother and child center we are commissioning today. The overall project has recorded about 100% completion, and we have also earmarked some projects to be implemented this year for the state of Benue. This 120-bed Muhammadu Buhari Mother and Child Center is fully equipped with the state-of-art facilities, which includes, among other, 2 operating theaters, recovery rooms, private and general wards, scanning rooms, consultation room, laboratory, ultrasound machine, vacuum extractor, delivery set, and emergency card with full complement. Also, we have intensive care units for children where the tiniest baby can survive. In case we have a tiniest baby, it will survive in this infrastructure. And what we are planning to put in place this year is to have oxygen plants to service the hospital. Aside from the oxygen plants, we will endure to ask the governor of Benue State to provide land for us to be able to get doctors' quarters and nurses' quarters, so that it will complement this infrastructure to enable the doctor be around 24 hours to attend to the needs of our mothers and children. Very distinguished guests, the strategic intervention directly linked to the achievement of SDG Goal 3 on quality health and well-being for all, as well as other cross-cutting SDG. Our intention is to have this facility in all the 36 states of the Federation, and currently we have 25.
According to her, the Makudi MCC is a strategic intervention is directly linked to the achievement of SDG 3 on quality health and well-being for all, as well as other cross-cutting SDGs. As a nation, we must continually pursue an accelerated reduction of maternal and newborn mortality rate in Nigeria, not only because it aligns with Target 2 of SDG 3 on ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being for all, but because we have to make sure that every child gets to achieve his or her full potential while the mother lives long to enjoy the benefits of child rearing. Also speaking at the occasion, the governor of Benue State, represented by his deputy, Benson Abonu, commended the Senior Special Assistant on Sustainable Development Goals for the partnership that led to successful completion of the MCC, which he noted is also well equipped. He added that the state government has already finalized plans to attach the facility to Benue State Teaching Hospital for proper management.
The state government of Benue wrote to the Office of the Special Senior Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals on the state's dire need for a specialized hospital for maternal and child healthcare services. The SSAP SDG graciously granted, considered, and approved our request for the project to be executed and handed over to the government of Benue State operationalization. Permit me to extend my heartfelt appreciation to the Senior Special Assistant to the President, Princess Adejoke Orelokpe Adefilure, a woman of conscience, a mother who saw and appreciated the plight of mothers and children in Benue State and approved this project to be executed. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, I wish to let you know that land has already been extended somewhere towards my right here and approved by the state government for the building of the staff quarters for doctors especially. From the year 2015 to 2017, the Benue State government has contributed a sum of 1.45 billion naira as counterpart contribution to SDG projects in the state. It is in view of this that we plead with the federal government not to get tired of us knocking at your door continually. For our people have this saying that it is only when sickness leaves you that you stop taking medication. We shall therefore keep coming to you for projects that will help uplift the standard of living of Benue people in the spirit of this well-founded partnership.
In their goodwill messages at the event, the Ministers of Special Duties, George Akume, Minister of State for Health, Mamora, and Minister of State for Finance, Clem Agba, commended OSAP SDGs for the establishment of the MCC. Therefore, appealed to Benue State government to make appropriate use of the facility.
This mega project is one of the numerous projects of the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration in Benue State. No doubt, the intervention by the federal government through the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals is timely, considering the devastating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on the healthcare system in Nigeria and globally. It is to be noted that similar projects have been completed and commissioned in November in Gashua, Yobe State, and in Ilori, Kwara State in December 2021. The efforts of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals and her team to construct and equip our full capacity mother and child center in Benue State must be recognized and appreciated. This project, which is specifically designed to provide integrated healthcare services for women of childbearing age and children, contribute to the improvement of the healthcare system in Makurdi in particular and Benue State at large. Hospital is equipped with modern facilities that will enhance the achievement of better maternal and child health for the end users. The administration of President Muhammadu Buhari recognizes the prime place of children in the survival of humanity. As such, has made the health and well-being of mothers and children a very top priority. This is to ensure a reduction in the maternal and child mortality rate, as well as focus on producing healthy and active citizens who can contribute meaningfully and purposefully to national development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let us continue to shine a spotlight on the needs of women and girls, mothers and young children, to ensure they are adequately supported throughout the prenatal, birthing, and postnatal journey. It is my earnest desire that through this Mother and Child Center in Makurdi, the residents of Makurdi and citizens of this great state can access quality and affordable healthcare.
I must say that I am particularly excited to be here today, to be part of this celebration, and of course, achievement
of the federal government of Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari. I do know that one thing that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has stressed has to do with the primary purpose of government, one of which is welfare. And as far as I'm concerned, what else can be more important than the health of people in terms of welfare? So it is on that note that I want to commend this hospital here, Mother and Child, appropriately named Muhammadu Buhari Mother and Child Hospital. One of the things this present administration under President Muhammadu Buhari has done, and the mandate given to us in the Ministry of Health, is to ensure that we bridge the gap between the primary health and tertiary health. And this structure here is a confirmation of an attempt to bridge that gap. Besides, it's also important to ensure that we keep our eyes on the ball in terms of ensuring that universal health coverage is achieved. And in doing so, again, we need to work in tandem, in collaboration with the subnational units, particularly the state governments. And if you permit me, I will echo what the SSA on SDG did say much earlier on, that is requesting the government of Benue State to provide living quarters in terms of accommodation for the staff that will manage this institution. Because this institution, as beautiful as it is, and with all the provisions therein, in terms of the theaters, the labor ward, the laboratories, name it, intensive care unit, all these cannot work on their own without the human resource for health that is appropriate to make this center work efficiently and appropriately. So this is why we need that collaboration between the federal and the state government. I'm sure that the government of Benue State will fulfill that part of its own mandate. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is a thing of beauty. And I believe again that all those that are involved, particularly the state government, will ensure that this center is appropriately maintained. Because if the structure is there, if the equipments are there, and they are not appropriately maintained on a sustainable basis, then it will be difficult to achieve what is desired to be achieved and make it work and serve the people for a long time to come.
This is yet another milestone in the federal government's program to strengthen the delivery of health services to the Nigerian people. President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, passionately believes that every Nigerian deserves the best possible healthcare that a nation of our size can provide. Mr. President believes that when ordinary people get sick, that is when they most need our assistance, and that is when our obligation to them is at its highest. This is reflected in this administration's determination to improving infrastructure in public health institutions. I urge you all to take advantage of the government's development agenda, which seeks not to just address the development of physical infrastructure, but also programs focusing on the health and well-being of all citizens. The critical question confronting all of us today is, what can we do to support a strong, proactive, and prosperous Nigeria? Together, let us be united and focused on building a better future, not just for some, but for every Nigerian. I call on the users of this facility to be committed to operational excellence by ensuring continuous improvement in work practices, processes, and procedures, while the federal government on its part will continue to ensure that great numbers of Nigerians have access to quality healthcare services
which will reverse the poor health indices in the country. I am hopeful that with this health facility, there will be reduction of maternal mortality ratio, neonatal mortality rate, and under 5 mortality rate to the barest minimum.
Others at the event include the Minister of State for Steel and Solid Minerals, Uche Oga, APC chieftains in Benue State, and Benue government officials. The MCC Makudi is the latest on the list of the MCC and other projects so far commissioned in the overall quest to tackle the root causes of maternal death and infant mortality, poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, peace, and justice. Between 2017 and 2020, OSAP SDGs constructed and furnished 3,613 blocks of classrooms, constructed and equipped 34 skill acquisition centers, and supplied 4,634 specialized hospital beds to different hospitals across the country. Similarly, the office has completed or about to complete the construction and equipping of a total of 34 120 Birds Mother and Child Centers, MCC, 16 80-bed ultra-modern hospitals, and 84 primary healthcare centers across the country, among other numerous projects.
We want to talk about rights, there are obligations. I'm not saying that this government is a saint, very far from it. But there are things that we can do to make it better, and that's the challenge I'm throwing to you. You don't want to build this nation? I don't know where else you want to go. If I had a choice, I'll come back. When I stand outside and I hear what you have to say about this country that I know that I can die for as one, then I'm really sad because you're young. You have education. You have tools. You have a huge future ahead of you. And you're condemning yourself before you started on that journey. So please don't do that. Please don't.
labarin ma yana peji na 36.
Ita kuma babban labarin wannan jarida shine ainihin labarin da ke gaban jarida shine ta bayyana cewa
ọkwa ọjọọ ikenga eziokwu
nwanne m nwoke
Ikechukwu Ndukwe Igbo
mam iji wee mee ka ụbọchị na-aga n'anya ya
ọjọ́ tuntun léwutelu nù.
nation fún ti òwúrọ̀ yìí ibẹ̀ náà ti sọ pé àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ ìpínlẹ̀ Benue pàṣẹ wípé.
ní gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀ka ní ẹ̀ka ètò ẹ̀kọ́ ní ẹ̀ka ètò ìlera ní ẹ̀ka ètò ààbò.
Hello again, here's an update of the news. I'm Dennis at Digunloye. The communications and digital economy sector is no doubt performing optimally, and the federal government is taking steps towards ensuring quality of service by its agencies. From now on, institutions that carry out any ICT project that is up to 1 million naira is expected to obtain a quality assurance certificate. At the Federal Executive Council's virtual meeting, it was reaffirmed that the federal government is also making moves to protect local farmers from exploitation by foreign produce buyers.
Of introducing ICT project clearance, one, to save costs, two, to fight corruption. And this is very important, and we have been discovering so many cases that are suspicious, and we reviewed them critically and draw the attention of institutions where necessary. Sometimes some institutions were even reported to Economic and Financial Crimes Commission or any institution of government, as the case may be. And also part of the benefits is ensure the security of our digital facilities, because part of the clearance, any project submitted, it is going to be reviewed critically to ensure that the security of our country, particularly our cyberspace, is not going to be compromised.
The incessant security breaches in parts of the northwest of the country, and in particular the recent attack by bandits in Kebbi State, which left close to 60 local security volunteers dead, have necessitated an appeal by the House of Representatives on authorities to establish military bases. The request for deployment to further improve security in the affected areas was adopted at Wednesday's plenary.
Being that of 22-year-old Miss Oluwa Bamishe Ayomola, whose corpse was found on Kata Bridge at Ogogoro community in Lagos Island 9 days after being declared missing.
Urge the federal government to mobilize military, ground and air troops, and other security personnel within the shortest possible time to bring to an end the ongoing attack and take fight to the bases of the bandits.
An accident has just occurred at Lungi Barracks along Kubwa Expressway, as passengers who sustained injuries in the accidents have been taken to hospital.
The man lose concentration over the tire burst and where it's coming from. I don't know where it's coming from, but I witnessed when the accidents occur. And the moment the accidents occur, people from Barrack come out to rescue them because they are calling road safe to come and rescue them.
Well, that's an update of the news. Do join us later on at 1 for more news. Thanks for watching.
This is the network service of the NTA.